Yo,
Yeah.
episode X. I don't know what episode this is of the Slow Grift.
23, 24, something like that.
23, 24. It's been a minute. 6-week minute here. So
we're back though. I've been anticipating bringing this topic because I've had it on the docket for a while and then got sick.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh man, once I get my voice back, we're gonna roll into to my local politicians. So it kind of got started. The idea was, hey, let's cover our local politics, which I think we talked about this years ago. I think that was like your original podcast idea, was to like cover local topics, I think.
Yeah. And like bring in people from around the country and that.
Yeah, exactly. Like cover your local.
Yeah, they know what's going on in their area. And so we just happen to live in two different states, so it works good for us. So you're in Colorado.
Yep, I'm in Colorado, and you're in Michigan there, and you I feel like your governor had her moment during 2020. That woman from Michigan, right?
Yeah,
and Jared Polis slides under the radar in a lot of ways. Do you know much about this guy?
So the only thing I know about him is super shallow. He's homosexual. And the second thing is he made a shit ton of money in the 90s with like cybersecurity or some kind of stuff. And I guess so there's three things: that he was like basically the richest man in, was it the House of Representatives?
Well, he was one of, I think. Yeah, he definitely, I think he was like third richest.
Oh, wow.
Who knows?
He had like 300 million. So
yeah, he was up there.
I wonder who the other two are.
You could be right though. It could have fluctuated, but maybe he was at one point. Yeah, I didn't quite know until I started doing the research how wealthy this man was.
Oh wow! Yeah,
I knew he was wealthy, but I just I hadn't done that research, and I hadn't done a lot of research on this guy. Which I think everyone should do research on the mayor of their town and the governor of their state. I mean, obviously we know the president, but just to get a sense of who this guy is. And I think so we were going to do a comparison show between what's been going on with your governor, your local politics, and mine. And then I was like, okay, this topic is deep enough that I think I can do a full show on Jared because he's an interesting man. And I found this first clip from Riot Games, and you'll quickly figure out why they did a piece on him. It kind of gives a little intro. It's back when he was a representative.
There was actually a computer game that helped get me interested in politics. I think it was called President-Elect. And basically, you were a candidate for president. Yeah, it was a fun game. I mean, you tried to win. You not only learned the lingo of politics, but you just try to actually win the election by deciding how you make your decisions on how to campaign.
Wow. So he got into politics because of a video game, not because of civic engagement. This is because of video games. That's a little strange, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's game theory.
I'm Jared Polis. I'm a member of the United States House of Representatives from the 2nd Congressional District of Colorado. And I'm Maine Malachi. I've been a gamer pretty much as long as I can remember. After a long day, of fighting in politics or whatever, gaming is great. Nothing else is really on your mind. It's just a great way to kind of not have to focus on the fights of the day. And
he seems high as fuck, but
I was gonna say he's fucking stoned.
I mean, he was in the cannabis caucus. Like, that's fine, whatever. He's from Colorado, that makes sense. But dude, you seem baked for this interview.
Yeah, good balance in your life. Well, when you win, I mean, it's just a great feeling. It's like passing a bill or making a sale in business. Likewise, when we lose, especially Marlon gets a little bit upset for a while.
It's not just me.
Darn it, they just took bot. There's just random constituents and others I met, and they always ask, what's your summoner name, and they get a huge kick out of it that they played with their congressman.
Are they playing World of Warcraft?
I think it's League of Legends, I want to say.
Okay. I don't know.
Look at Jared. He had the N95 growing up. he was ahead of the curve.
Hey, if you don't like something, change it. Well, I've been very successful in business in my 20s, and I found myself wanting to give back to the community. And for me, that was not just make more money if you don't need it, but focus on trying to change the world. When I first got elected to Congress, it was a real crazy experience. I mean, really, all of a sudden, you're yielding to people on the floor, you're introducing bills, and you have the same authority as somebody who's been there for 20 or 30 years, the same vote. You experience politics in a League of Legends game. I mean, the dynamic between the players in terms of who's going where, how you decide on it, do you group up in the middle, when do you stop laning, all of those types of decisions, which everybody who's playing League of Legends has seen work really well. That's going to be a quadra kill. Can he get the pentakill? Front you 101. It's going to be the pentakill. And also seen it completely fall apart. Oh, no, he does. That's only 5 people, but you have 435 in the United States House of Representatives trying to get along. You do have to have your role. Let's see, I would say I'm probably something of a jungler because I get to be involved with lots of different bills and lots of different areas, and I kind of swoop in to gank them on different things.
Yeah, dude, weird terminology there. I mean, I'm sure that's from a League of Legends. Again, Jared's just like a stoner gamer.
Is that a bigot term? Like gank them? Like I
don't know. Yeah,
dude, it was in like the 80s.
Yeah, what's the okay? Let's look up outside of what's the definition of gank?
Yeah,
maybe it's a League of Legends. Oh, rob or defraud somebody.
Right.
Also great. Hey, he's a true grifter, ain't he?
He's an appropriator.
Oh, all right. Well, let's see where.
I think one of the great things is when you can bring together the entire League of Legends.
Oh, wait, they're saying no censorship back then. You guys remember that? Like, hey, no, it's cancel culture.
Yeah, save the internet.
Community around something because it's a very diverse community. It has its infighting. But when there's an issue that affects everybody, like Sopa and Pippa, it brought the entire community, even trolls and haters, everybody kind of together around, making sure that these bad bills.
What's that?
I remember Sopa Pippa.
I know. It was a big thing. Hot button issue for a second.
Yeah.
Didn't pass.
Sopa and Pippa.
Sopa and Pippa.
Sopa. Stop Online Piracy Act.
Pippa, the Protect IP Act.
Sopa and Pippa directly threaten the very internet that has brought humanity great prosperity and greater peace. This was kind of an internet censorship type law, which really would have prevented League of Legends from even offering some of the characters they offered.
That's the. I mean, I guess he's talking to a gamer. He's talking to the games, but
not to mention stifling some of the discussions on the board. I have many concerns with this bill, including a overly broad definition of infringement. I mean, if Sopa and Pippa had passed, you might have seen the League of Legends community and forum disabled. First of all, I went on the forum, which was exciting, and many of the people calling into the members of Congress were League of Legends players. There was an internet day where sites went dark, Wikipedia, among others. League of Legends players in the community played a role in writing in and calling into the members of Congress to help defeat Sopa and Pippa. The League of Legends community should not give up just by defeating Sopa and Pippa. We're capable of whatever that we put in our mind. So
should we elect another president from 4chan or 8chan or?
Yeah.
Is that where we're going?
So whatever can invoke passion and unite the League of Legends community will get done in this world. I represent the 2nd Congressional District of Colorado. Let's do it.
Well run.
Nice ultimate.
Got 9 seconds.
But I also hope to be somebody that the community of League of Legends players across the country and the world can turn to as a person in Congress who understands that experience and wants to protect it and is very much part of that community.
Yeah, that's Jared. He is
He's a nerd.
He's a gamer. And I'm saying that because I went on his Twitter. For those of you who are listening, it says it gaymer, Gaymer. It's he's a gay gamer. Get it?
Yeah. Why waste words when you can roll them into one?
The Ukraine flag and so he looks like a bot with all these.
Yeah.
But that's what he's promoting himself as a game. That's whatever. You know, he's trying to stay hip and relevant. He's a tech entrepreneur. You know, he's up with the latest trends. He can, you know, he's a maverick. He was the only Democrat, I looked this up, in the Libertarian caucus in Colorado. So he likes to play that like, oh, I'm not your average Democrat. But again, look at it through the lens of how he got into politics. He saw it as a game. He's a gamer. He's playing He's playing to win, and he plays both sides. Talks out of his mouth in pretty interesting ways. But we will get there. But another way to introduce him, he did a sit down interview with the guys from South Park.
Naturally,
and because they're from Colorado, of course.
Do you know?
And what's that?
Yeah. Do you know when this was?
This is recently, like within the last year,
as he's governor. Yeah. Oh, see, I see. Governor.
Okay.
What South Park character do you think would be just like a great mascot to kind of represent who Colorado is?
I'd say Mr. Hanky, just because I think I'd just like to see Mr. Hanky as a mascot.
It would be good, a little edgy. He's friendly, very nice. You know.
And Mr. Hanky is a piece of shit, by the way. So that's he's agreeing that. Well, let's see what the
get that holiday spirit in.
Yeah, I think Tally, Mr. Hanky or Tally, you know, with the weed industry here and now, like that people know that about Colorado. And Tally, we made Tally to be like a terrible character. That was the original conception. Was like, why would you make a character out of a towel? And it's turned out to be honestly one of our more popular characters. It really has.
We love them both. I think Tally and Mr. Hanky would both be good mascots for our state. So, you know
would they? A drug addicted towel and a piece of shit. All right, I guess so. I guess.
I mean, which one are you gonna go with on that show? You know that's the crowd.
It's a hard question. Who's the best?
Well, it goes to your point and him playing the game. You know, he's playing the crowd favorite game.
Yeah.
You know, this is not a really serious question, so he can get loose with it.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess, you know, what would you say? They're kind of like putting him in a weird position, like, I got to agree with this. You know, what are we gonna do?
I'm surprised you didn't say Mr. Garrison.
Right? Ooh. That would have been. But they talk about they also get into the heavy hitting issues of the day, which is the vaccine, and this is kind of made me lose some respect for these guys. Not that I had a lot, but
as somebody who's skeptical of skeptical of government and all that, did you get vaccinated? And
it's usually when you ask a celebrity,
yeah,
did you get vaccinated or not? It's either yes, I did, or that's a personal question. So yes, we did. But
yes, we did. There's just a lot of people who it's a personal question for, I guess. It's a private decision.
And we take that as a no.
It's like, just say no. Just say no. These big time football players getting up and being like, it's a personal decision.
Just say no. I don't want to. Okay, all right.
Whatever. Luckily, that is going to give us a lot more pandemic specials.
Yeah,
and then we'll just keep going.
It's just like,
so now we can do more pandemic specials. Thanks a lot, everybody.
I mean, it's just like science solved this thing, but then people screwed up the solution. So that
is that right?
Science solved it.
Science solved it, and we just screwed up the solution by not getting it fast enough, or everyone. Yeah. That's the reason for the variance, right?
I mean, that's gotta be a lefty trope. Is that just
that we are the reason that it didn't fail or it didn't succeed.
Right.
It's just that arbitrary number that could have made mine work better, even though we all got it anyway.
Oh man, the arbitrary number. Speaking of which, I was listening to NPR, not to go too far off the topic, but they were doing a simulation with a university and said, well, how many lives would have been saved if we had 100% vaccinated? It's like, wow.
We love our models.
Yeah, models.
We love
great.
those models.
Yeah. Oh.
That's great. Yeah, just like measuring antibody responses. That whole thing.
Well, it don't matter because we'll just all fuck it up, according to this guy.
Yeah. No, science had the solution. I mean,
That's a great formula for you, but it's a bad formula for.
That's why we've been around for 24 years.
people aren't that smart, you know. What I mean? And that whole
yeah, people are that smart. Yeah.
Really? And these guys are?
Yeah. No, totally. They're the smartest, man. Yeah. So that's hanging with.
Look at the
gov.
posture though. Look at that. Look how they set up on the stage. How he's just like above them. They're just slouched on the couch.
Oh yeah, that is he is in the throne, and they're just there to talk to King Jared.
Yeah, that shit matters.
But during that, so I remember at the start of the pandemic, and Gretchen was super hard. And Jared was kind of, at least when it came to the Democrats, and it's all relative because he was still locked things down, still did that. But it wasn't to where, like he didn't lock down like nurseries, and he wasn't doing, Gretchen was, I feel like front and center for taking that stand to be the Fauci fan from Michigan.
Oh yeah, with the crocheted pillows and stuff.
Yeah, because she was hoping to be VP. It was totally like her tryout. But
yeah, nobody talks about that so much, but it was totally true. Nobody talks about that, but that was her audition.
Well, this is from, I believe, 2018. This is when Jared, right after Jared was elected, or maybe 2019. So it was back when Trump was still in office, and. Again, Jared's he's a gamer. He's playing to win. He's using the rhetoric game. And this was his line back then.
Some viewers may not realize this. Before you got into politics, you were in Congress and this, but you were a very successful tech entrepreneur. So I'm just curious, put your businessman hat on here a minute. You heard the president today say, look, if you want to bail out, be prepared for the government to take an equity stake. What do you think of that? Is that the right approach?
Well, that kind of thing rubs me the wrong way, Chuck. We saw that with the auto bailout. I was very proud of Ford for not taking the money. GM and Chrysler did. Look, I think that the government should not own the means of production. I'm not a socialist like Donald Trump. So I think that's a very dangerous way to go. And I think that rather than these corporate bailouts, we should talk about helping people, Chuck. That means workers. It means small business owners. It means everybody.
Because he's not a socialist, right?
Right, like Donald Trump. Which I do agree with to a certain extent. All that money printing that he did.
Oh yeah, no, they're all socialists to some degree. Like no one doesn't print the money.
But so he's governor's outline request from the White House. So they were getting bailed out. This is for what is this for? What is not one?
I don't. That's actually a good question. What this particular issue is about at this point in time, I'm not sure.
So he came in 2018 then for you?
Yep. That's when he was elected. So 2019, I guess, is when he actually came in.
And I'm just like super skeptical of all politicians that came in that crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was when the squad came in too, right?
Yeah.
And Gretchen for you.
Gretchen and her squad. She's got a squad. A little foreshadowing there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this classic. So Jared likes to throw kind of project a little bit.
Sure. He likes to sound like big bad Republican over here.
Yeah. No. I have another clip of this later. But it's funny because it throws you off. Similar to he's playing almost like a Trumpian, like I'm going to call them, or not a Trumpian, but like maybe more of a Alinsky kind of thing, where it's like just say the opposite, or like I don't know. It's just a strange way to frame an argument, maybe to put the Republican on his heels for a change, but.
Yeah,
it's fake, because then the next thing he says is, well, let's have socialism for the people. Like, okay, I mean, you're not a Ron Paul libertarian over here either. You're just
right
playing the game.
he's got his in the gamer world, he's got his persuasion up. He's been working on his persuasion skills.
Yeah, he's persuading for the future. He's got eyes on the prize in my eyes.
Okay.
But
frankly, I like this idea of sending everybody $2,000. I like the idea of temporarily increasing SNAP benefits, emergency.
Wait, sending everybody $2,000. This was before the pandemic, I think, or maybe. I mean, yeah, this was. When was this? Oh, okay. No, it's March 19th. Okay, so this was right at the start of the pandemic. Okay,
when he changed his tune a little bit, he started revealing himself, I guess. Okay,
but it's funny how he shifts from that to that,
well, and then he's the reluctant hero. Sounds like.
Yeah, he's something, man. So he later on, this is where Jared got when the vaccine was rolled out. Does this sound like a libertarian to you? Let's just hear what he says.
We know how to end the pandemic. It's in our power to do so.
Governor Polis had a stern warning for those who are choosing not to get vaccinated against COVID-19.
From January through the end of June, 95.7% of hospitalizations were people that were not fully vaccinated.
Which, by the way, January through June, that was primarily most people were not even vaccinated at that point. So it skews the stats. I just want to point that out because that's how they lie with statistics.
Yes.
About 95% of deaths were also people who weren't vaccinated.
That's why he's urging unvaccinated Coloradans to step up and do their part. He says people don't have to end up in hospitals or dead.
Entirely preventable.
They don't have to. They don't have to. You don't have to do it, man.
It's too close to sounding like a threat.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's totally thinly veiled threats. That's all this shit is.
Yeah.
He's sweetening the deal with some giveaways. Across the state, he will hold vaccine clinics where those who take the plunge will get a one.
Take the plunge.
Is this a polar bear challenge?
Yeah, why do they plunge? Because you also get the image of it plunging into your arm, but also it's like a take the plunge. Like that's how you got to frame this.
Yeah.
By the way, this is a total native ad, and you'll just wait for it.
$100 Walmart gift card.
Ding.
The Chancellor of Colorado Community Colleges, Joe Garcia, also announced a partnership with Amazon to offer 67 scholarships to vaccinated students ranging from $1,000 to $5,000.
It's going to allow them to get the education that they so desperately want.
I desperately want that education.
Not only that, it will allow them.
But isn't it funny? They frame it as they're desperate. So roll up your sleeves if you're desperate.
It says some will still not get the vaccine, but to those who were unsure before, he says there's nothing to fear.
The COVID-19 vaccine is safe, effective. Millions of Americans have made the choice to get protected.
Everyone's done it.
3 million Coloradans, and those folks are able to live their lives again.
Oh yeah, not me.
That $100 gift card giveaway starts tomorrow. There are 10 locations in 8 counties. As a matter of fact, this Walmart on Colfax and Havana is one of them. If you'd like full list of the locations that will be going on through the end of July.
Specifically.
Yeah, it's this one right behind me on Colfax and Havana. Come on down and take the plunge.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's just. This is kind of more about the presentation of where we got, but how all governors were used as pitchmen for Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, they really
were. And I think Denver had an issue with the Johnson & Johnson that shut it down for a second. I think they were part of that original pause before they said, which is funny. Now it's a very, like, you can still get it if you really want it, but we won't recommend it to you. Like, what kind of freeze is this? It's not even pulling it.
We've lost our funding for our perks and incentives.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but at the time it was, hey, come on down, take the plunge, get $100. Yeah, thanks, Jared. So Jared's interesting. I went into some of his history, and I found this clip from when he was in office, and it's he gets really animated. I want to, again, when he was in Congress, there was this moment. Just tell me if he reminds you of anybody.
The general people in the gallery, the men and women who are spending their time here, would not have to be in the gallery in those galleries advocating if this House simply took up the bill. You think they want to be spending their time here, Madam Speaker? Is that what you think? They want to be spending their time here in the gallery, probably traveling at their own expense to Washington? And you're saying we're addressing them, and that's what you're upset about, Madam Speaker? I want you, Madam Speaker, to address the reason that they are here. They are here because our government is tearing apart their families, Madam Speaker.
Will the gentleman from Colorado understand all members?
Will the Speaker understand that the Speaker is obstructing H.R. 15 from coming to the floor? Will the Speaker understand that? Will the Speaker understand that? Will the Speaker understand that?
Gentleman may proceed.
Will the Speaker understand that the Speaker is preventing H.R. 15 from coming to the floor, and that is why there are men and women in the gallery that potentially face deportation and their families are being torn apart? It's very simple. It's very simple. Very simple, Madam Speaker.
He reminds me of Mr. Garrison.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting, but all right.
I mean, that or that one episode of 90210 back in the 90s when they were trying to normalize homosexuality. And the one guy just flipped out for no reason, and everyone wondered what was wrong with him.
Huh.
And he just came out as gay. And then they all understood where his passion was coming from.
I thought of Cory Booker.
Cory Booker.
When he was crying about the Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
Or Maxine Waters, like just a repetition of what is it? Some biding my time or get whatever she said.
Yeah. Reclaiming my time.
Reclaiming my time.
Yep. And then just like that mantra.
Yeah.
Where they don't hear. There's who else did that? Goodbye. What was No Agenda played a clip where she was just like goodbye or get away from me or no comment. Remember that? She was
I don't
abortion
actually.
riots and they asked her a question and she figured out that they weren't part of her crew.
Oh, she had a meltdown moment too.
Yeah, but it was just that repetition where you're just like, I'm done.
This seems like obviously a total performance to me.
Yeah.
Much like Congress is a performance to some degree, but it just was, it just didn't come off
here because our government is tearing apart their families, Madam Speaker.
Like that part is it's not. I don't know. It seems a little overkill.
Yeah,
personally,
right at the beginning, he kind of reminded me of a young Joe Biden. Just I don't know why it was maybe just in the way of maybe it's the milieu or something, but
yeah, that's not a good sign for us, boy.
No. But man, that's so he's talking about the immigration issue at the time. Or?
Apparently, yeah. I think there were activists in the halls of Congress. That wasn't an insurrection because it was. I don't know. It just didn't fit the bill.
Right, because there's empathy for those people.
Right, because it is the people's house. But anyway, that's that's neither here nor there. But Jared's a bit of a drama queen or a drama person. I don't want to, he's just dramatic. I don't want to put any. He could be a king or a queen or the pauper. I have no idea in this equation. But during the pandemic, he also had a moment where he got pretty emotional. This also seemed like a total setup, but
hearing a lot of reports around here, and I know I've seen some stuff going on statewide.
What's that around his neck?
Holding on other neighbors.
Oh, that was his mask at the time. That's when they first rolled it out.
Not following the orders. I'm seeing a lot of rebellion out here against your orders, which have been called tyrannical, against local health department orders. Being equated to Nazism. How do you react to that? What do you say to those people who are clearly getting frustrated with this stay-at-home order.
Well, first of all, as you know, as a Jewish American who lost family in the Holocaust, I'm offended. Any comparison to Nazism. We act to save lives. The exact opposite.
Bring the tears up here.
Slaughter of 6 billion Jews and many
Reference it.
Catholics.
Never forget.
Been Donald Trump's a Nazi for 2-3 years, and Republicans as well.
And his Jewish daughter or son-in-law or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, by doing what? They call them Nazis for what? Because they were afraid Ruth was going to die soon? What? Like, I'm starting to realize that's what this whole, it's not Donald Trump they hate. It was that Hillary was supposed to appoint 3 liberal Supreme Court justices.
Yeah. That actually, in the grand scheme of things, that did, I mean, that literally turned the tide of the mandate. If Hillary had been in office and elected or nominated those judges, yeah, it would have been totally different.
Yeah.
But sorry. But this was a total setup.
Yeah.
Setup question, by the way, because like it was clear. Oh, bring in the comparison. How dare they compare me to a Nazi? I am a victim too, or whatever. I'm a good person. How dare you? And I don't even remember this. I don't think this setup took off, but.
No, it did, and it never does because
he didn't deliver very well.
Well, it's not even that he didn't experience the Holocaust. Like, had he, then that would make a difference, I would say.
Also, just notice how he mentions he just mumbles it.
We act to save lives. The exact opposite of the slaughter of 6 billion Jews and many gypsies and Catholics and gays and lesbians and Russians and so many others.
Let me just rattle off all of the things. And,
so quick to be a gypsy.
And the gypsies.
Yeah, the gypsy sympathizer.
Yeah,
and Russian sympathizer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
How dare you? Don't bring it.
Nobody gave him the
Ixnay on the Ruskies, eh?
Everybody just gave him the script for the first. Not the sequel.
No, he's not. Well,
only the producers are read in on the sequels and the plans for franchising. Yeah,
Jared's read in some ways. It's interesting too. So I went through his Wikipedia, and
well, yeah, he's got the money. They want to read him in, make him feel special.
He's done some. He voted against the NDAA. Like, I'll give him credit for that. And he had a bill to legalize interstate raw milk commerce. So I was like, okay. I mean, but he plays that card because, again, he's playing the game. He's the gamer.
But I also wonder if those are big money votes, like big dick swinging. Like, I got $300 million. This is what I believe in votes, and then. Maybe they just didn't like what he was doing when he was in Congress, and then to become governor of Colorado, of all places, he had to maybe change his tune a little bit or on some of those passions.
Yeah, I think in terms of him being a kind of a wild card, like unpredictable, interesting, all over doesn't fit the profile of your usual politician, so you can play that maverick role. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at it strictly from a game theory perspective of why he would claim to even be he's a member of the Liberty Caucus in Congress. Mm-hmm. He's very hip to technology, so he's not like your out of touch Chuck Schumer or somebody like that. Mm-hmm. He's big into. Actually, he was the first congressman to accept Bitcoin as a donation. So he's hip. Mm-hmm. But he's promoted. I think he's playing both of those sides. So he's not that stereotypical he's extreme left. Wait, no, he's saying we don't want taxes or all this stuff. But it's all.
He's a Gen Xer as well. That should be noted.
Okay, that is he's 47.
Yeah.
So but I think all of that is basically to position himself to get, I think literally remember that initial bio piece of him, he got into politics because of video games.
Right.
So he's trying to move up. What I've realized is whatever Jared says doesn't fucking mean any of it. Because when he first got into office, he said, "Oh, I'm pro-choice when it comes to vaccines," which for a Democratic governor to make that stance, even at the time in 2018, was not necessarily what his party was saying. And it was like, oh, okay, maybe he is more libertarian in that way. But as soon as the COVID jab rolled out, no, he was mandating it for state employees and, allowing all and just having that type of rhetoric, pretty hateful rhetoric towards the unvaxxed.
Yeah. Just the same talking points all of them had. You know?
Right. I mean, look at where he got. This is the kind of man, and again, this is what he said as governor.
Well, today, Governor Polis talked about people who have loved ones who forbid them to get vaccinated. The governor says they should get their vaccine in secret.
A spouse or a parent you live with who doesn't want to get it, is against it, you can still privately get that vaccine without your partner, your spouse, your parent knowing, if that's what keeps the harmony in the family and you are protecting yourself.
There is concern that some people are not getting vaccinated because of misinformation. In turn, they might lash out at those who are vaccinated.
Is that right?
Oh my God.
They might lash out. Yeah. So Jared literally is promoting lying behind your partner's back to keep harmony of the family. Gee, if that isn't kind of a window into this guy's character, I don't know what is, because no matter what your stance on this whole issue, that sounds like the worst thing you could possibly do. Oh yeah, lie to your spouse about something that's really important. Thanks, Jared. What are you setting me? Kidding me?
I want
for harmony, man. That's double speak right there.
I mean, I don't know, and I don't have a broad sphere, to draw this from, but like, I feel like most of the people I know that didn't get the vaccine didn't really say anything to people that got vaccinated because it's choice.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I've seen and I've heard and been party to vaccinated folks kind of guilt shaming unvaccinated folks and like really pushing that conversation or even pushing the topic. Whereas like, I mean, I guess you could say like, I know who's around me that's not vaccinated because the topic never comes up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like, hey, are you vaccinated?
Yeah.
It's like that's only one side. I mean,
it's such a projection, though, to say like it's really the unvaccinated who are shaming vaccinated people for getting it,
and that's why you should lie.
That's what, because it's so pervasive.
Yeah,
it's so pervasive.
It's pervasive, and it's the morally wrong thing to do.
Yeah, of course. I mean, thou shalt lie to thine partner in service of science.
Yeah, and I have a thought, and it's very sensitive, and I don't want to come across as like it doesn't matter because some people will interpret it, but you won't. And I wonder, if you're, growing up in the 90s, growing up with parents that aren't open-minded, and you're homosexual, you have to lie for a very long time, I would assume.
Sure.
And so I think a lot of times when I hear this coming from people that have been in the closet, it's almost like it's no big deal to them for other people to do the morally wrong thing, which is in this case lying or keeping things hidden from people you care about and care about you. And it's almost like it's just I had to go through it, so it's just like a trauma thing, and it would be wrong for me to say, oh, I went through this trauma and this is how I acted, so everybody's okay to act like that because that's how I did it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, oh, that you're saying from his perspective. Yeah,
it's a lot easier to just let that slide and promote it to other people.
Well, it's funny. It's funny to me too, because I personally feel like the exact opposite is true in this situation again, where the people who didn't get the vaccine actually are the ones who feel like they have to lie. Because I mean, I knew several people who would lie and said, "Oh yeah," literally in order to see their like family members or to fit in socially,
or not run the risk of being like, "I'm sorry, but you can't come over."
Yeah, any of that.
My family,
and just because they didn't want to have that conversation of like, oh my god, you're anti-vet, like literally, I think a lot of people got the jab because they wanted to avoid that conversation altogether.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's so funny that this piece came up. Like, first off, how often are people having to lie to hide the fact that they want to get this very socially accepted, promoted product? Now it's still contentious. It's basically like, oh, so if you have a disagreement and your partner really doesn't want you to get it, you should not continue to be honest with them. You should just really just go along and get it, because and that's just it just shows you the inversion that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
Very good.
That's supposed to be that's harmonious, is it?
And I think too is if it was nefarious, if this was like scripted and set up in a certain way, I think it was to promote more sympathy with the vaccinated. Like, look what they have to go through just to get the shot. That's how you're creating demand. Like, when you're telling stories of what people do to acquire whatever it is you're trying to sell them, Like, look at him. He entered a contest where he had to eat bugs for 50 days just to win a car. Well, everybody is like, wow, that must be a fucking great car. Like, that's just the psychology of it.
Yeah.
It's the country you're facing. People are.
So, but it's we can move on. I'm just saying it's just hard for me not to see any of these politicians or any public speakers talking about vaccines and vaccinated versus unvaccinated without thinking it's just some sort of marketing pitch on some level.
That's all I mean, it's almost like this is the litmus test, especially in the Democratic Party. You had to line up and say this thing. You had you're just selling it. You're the salesperson now.
Yeah.
For this grand build back better. No, I mean, just everything. It's like you got to be lockstep. If you're not,
for the trial, man. If you really want to say they're promoting a trial, we just got to get everybody just DeSantis is basically the guy who's come closest by saying that we don't recommend young children to get this vaccine, basically. Right. And that's the closest any governor that I know of has come to actually saying, yeah, we shouldn't get it, because even he was promoting it just like everyone else. He just wasn't forcing it. But it was almost like, I know DeSantis, you got your Maverick stuff, but you can't fully go against this if you want to have any hope in hell getting any of that money. Right. So DeSantis is still part of that whole scheme too. But like, especially if you're in the Democratic Party, Polis had to, and he lined up and played ball, and he was on Meet the Press, and this is what he was saying about people like us.
Whether they're governors, mayors, local influencers, lead with facts rather than fear. Local influencers don't react well to this ongoing environment of fear for 2 years. Let's lead with the facts. Look, the science-driven information people need to keep themselves safe.
Wait. So he's saying we led with fear, but let's not anymore. And
let's be more compassionate. We definitely bonked him. What did he say? Ganked him over the head. Ganked him with fear. Now we need to loosen him up with some carrots, right?
Oh, wow.
But also look at this tell. I want to point this out because it kind of is the Bill Gates tell where he starts smiling. You see the nervous duper's delight. There it is.
To this ongoing environment of fear for 2 years. Let's lead with the facts. Look, the science-driven information people need to keep themselves safe with the individual freedom and local control that we deserve. That's
with the control. Hold on a second. Let me just pull that back because this guy does this a lot. Did you catch that bit at the end?
No.
Okay, let's play that again.
Lead with facts rather than fear. People just don't react well to this ongoing environment of fear for 2 years. Let's lead with the facts. Look, the science-driven information people need to keep themselves safe with the individual freedom and local control that we deserve.
The local control. Yeah, the local control that we deserve. What?
We deserve it?
We deserve that local control. Just that phrase is strange. He's just rambling off, but he reveals the plot in those rambles sometimes.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Don't we deserve local competency or
I don't know, secure. It's just something other than control, dude. Like ixnay on the control, Jared. Don't say that. New term. Autonomy or something.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate with the delight because I think I will look for it more with him, but like I think he fucked up what he's trying to say.
Yeah, it was more just
he was smiling because he knew he fucked up, but he kept going. He put like too many commas in there somewhere or something.
Yeah, this was not I put this in here because it's kind of an example of how he stumbles, like when he's not sharp enough is what I'm saying. He needs a lot of polishing. He's not if we're talking games, you need to level up, Jared. You need some more. If you're going to hit the big time, go again and run for president.
More XP, man. More XP.
No more XP. Yeah,
he needs more XP. He needs more.
He does. Yeah.
So let me also run something by you too with back to the Duper's delight because I say that maybe he was fucking up and maybe they're all fucking up their lines, but and this might be a question for an expert. There might be some bodily reaction or psychological reaction when you know you're saying something that's full of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You actually fuck it up for yourself. And so he might be totally unaware that's almost going on.
Yeah, so it's less of maybe it's another level of Duper's delight where it's Bill he's just triggered all the time because he knows deep down he's got ulterior motives.
Yeah.
And Jared knows when he's like said something that's either he doesn't believe or he's like he's like gritting through it because he's like, I just talked about some shit I don't really I know it's kind of full of shit, but
it's an embarrassment factor. I feel on some level, either I'm embarrassed that I'm saying this and I don't believe it, or I'm embarrassed that I can't get this line that I practiced.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, in terms of looking at it as a game, he's like, oh, I gotta go back. I can't.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to replay that level. Yeah. He'll be back on Meet the Press for sure.
Yeah.
That's where we are at this point. We know how to stop this thing. Getting 3 doses of the vaccine is and all but negates any risk that you face.
All but negates.
We just need to make sure that people go out and do it.
Hey, I'm still smiling through it.
Are you going to change the definition of fully vaccinated in your state? I know you have there's some specifics, entities that you want to see have vaccinated. Based on what you've heard, are you change those
entities?
What, demons? What?
I don't know.
Definition.
Goblins.
That's certainly where it's headed, Chuck. It looks like
this is old news.
That to significantly reduce the risk of the Omicron variant, 3
is that right?
Doses of the vaccine are needed. And by the way,
I think we've already determined that didn't matter either, right?
Just read the articles of today, May 14th, everybody. 2022.
But this is an interesting talking point. I think when was this? Was this December or January? Okay, December. Yeah. So we're still in the midst of passports back then, and This is what Jared was saying.
This is normal with many other vaccines. I have young kids. They have the DTaP vaccine. Every kid gets it, diphtheria, tetanus. It's 3 doses of that vaccine to be effective. So I wish they'd stop talking about it as a booster, Chuck. It really is a 3-dose vaccine. And every piece of data that we're seeing shows that that's the case.
Collaborates that. Ooh!
Wow, he went for the big words.
Yeah, he messed that up too.
I know.
Wow. How about your testing capacity all over the East Coast, particularly in the Northeast, over the last 48 hours? There's been a run on the at-home tests. Can't find enough of them. By the way, they're a little pricey, considering if this is something that essential.
Man, Chuck really likes looking off to the side, by the way.
Yeah, he certainly does.
It's shifty-eyed Chuck.
Should they be priced as high as they are? And we've seen fewer public places to get tested. Do you need more resources on that?
Yeah, right. That's bad, man. That's just, it's natural.
What's the situation in Colorado?
We've made free at-home testing available to every Coloradan for months now. So we've sent out over 1.2 million, just right to your doorstep. You get the free test, the same kind that in other states people have to buy. It's a popular program. We're certainly planning on continuing it for the time being. It's also important to note that while the Northeast is going up now in cases, our region in the Rocky Mountain West has actually been going down for several weeks. We peaked in October, early November. We have a lot less hospitalizations than we did a few weeks ago. Now, that could change on a dime, we know, with the Omicron variant, but we're in a better place now than we were a month ago. And absolutely, the free at-home tests have been part of that. They've been very popular with the people of Colorado.
If President
where's his dad? Where's his argument to back that up? How have they been very popular?
I don't think it's been I don't remember anybody getting mailed a test. Maybe I missed this program because generally I don't give a shit about getting a test, but it wasn't popular enough.
Michigan, you had to sign up for it and get it.
Yeah, you got a few. I should have just got the free ones just to have or give it to somebody who actually wants to use them, but
oh my god!
Clearly, it wasn't popular enough. So. Yeah. Oh my! I got a new test.
You up tomorrow and says, "What do you want to hear from me on Tuesday night? What's important? What helps you do your job in help in getting things better in Colorado?"
So they're asking about the State of the Union. What's going to help us do? What do you think? What do you think Jared's got to say?
We just need to get out there and convince people that it's safe and effective.
Yeah.
What would you tell the president?
I would say stop talking about the vaccine as a booster, talking about it as 3 doses that are needed for effective prevention. People who've gotten those.
That's what he should lead for the state of Colorado. What do you need? Lead with this is a 3-dose. So it's just rhetoric. That's what this. That's what the president needs to come out and say this line that it's not a booster, it's a 3-dose program.
Yeah,
wow, that's an inspiration, Jared.
He's like really that employee that's like wants to be a manager so bad, and just comes up, picks like certain issues to just sound smart about. Like, don't call it like overtime. Call it like an opportunity to pay your bills. You know.
Yeah, call it booster time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so funny because it's like, instead you should like
it's a stoner idea, dude.
Yeah, no, I know. Like what I would say would be lead with something emotional, like we need to remember why we're Coloradans and why we need to like, or remind us why we need to come together and put behind this hateful rhetoric that the president has been, like some kind of like. Instead, he's like, you need to lead
moment or something.
Yeah, or ask not what you can do for the country, but really promote it as a 3-dose regimen. Jared, that's the test market on that is the buttons are going nowhere. No one's like, oh yeah, Jared, say it's a 3-dose.
That'll make it click for everyone.
Oh man, he's got my back, Jared.
Yeah. Huh.
3 doses in our Colorado data, which is similar to the national data, are 47 times less likely to die than people that are unvaccinated. It essentially negates the risk. Nothing is risk-free and
it essentially negates the risk. Then he said nothing is risk-free, so I'm just covering a caveat there.
Chuck. But you can go about, if you're boosted, you can feel very confident that if you get COVID, it'll be a minor case. I'd also say we need to focus on prices, increases in prices and costs.
Oh,
people
the Putin price hike, you mean?
People are frustrated.
Putin hadn't done anything yet, Jared.
More gas, $3.80 a gallon. Let's show some relief. In Colorado, it's cutting vehicle registration fees. It's making it free to start a business. We're trying to cut taxes twice. So these kinds of things that show that we're doing what we can to make sure that families can get by and thrive.
Get by and thrive.
Get by and thrive.
Those two things go together.
Just getting by and thriving. Hey, are you thriving? Yeah, man, I'm just getting by.
What?
Well, isn't that bringing back literally the Obama thing, where it's like the American dream is just getting by, right?
Yeah.
It's like, my dream is to just get by.
A little known like buzzword thing back in around, I think in 2012-ish was a livable wage. You know about that, right? You've heard that?
Yeah.
But a lot of
living wage or whatever. Yeah.
Livable. And then in a lot of, like, I would say the milieus of like the higher intellectual types, the cool companies and stuff. NPR was even talking about it at the time, was a thrivable wage. So not what's livable, not what meets your costs, not what pays the bills, but something that could cushion you to then like launch off of into maybe a career or something that would really help you thrive. And it was something that was kind of taken seriously until it wasn't, because you can't decide that blanket. You can't make a blanket wage increase, for everyone, because thrivable is a very, very
no. That thriving, there's some degree that means you've succeeded enough in the marketplace to feel like you're thriving. Like, we need universal, basic, thriving income. Like that would defeat the purpose, because then it's like, oh yeah, man, everyone's thriving now. You got your Thrive payment. Yeah, man.
Right.
Like, what'd you do with your Thrive payment? Oh, like, I just bought a bunch of booze and like didn't really do much. But
right.
You're thriving though, right? Like, I guess. Like,
so these are all failed gardeners, because obviously they think if a seed sprouts, it's thriving, right? Like, it sprouted, we don't have to water it anymore.
Yeah. Oh, it's thriving now. Yeah. Like, did you forget it? Well, I mean, yeah, it was like, I thought it was enough.
Right. And I put compost on it. It looks like the soil's wet.
Yeah, you got that right. All right. Yeah, this is
gross.
That's his representation of thriving, though. It's just getting by. That's good to know. I think he's an out of touch businessman. That's the criticism for a lot of politicians, but
sure.
So I want to bring in. Let's go to his TED Talk. So
we gave a TED Talk.
Oh yeah, before I think before he was elected into office, or maybe right before. From 2010, because this guy has been obsessed.
I'll be talking
about education since 2010, and it's interesting. I want you to notice the language that he uses to describe, like just how he phrases things, and if it really touches your humanity when you're listening.
All right.
About something more substantial, analytical. It's a cool idea that I've been playing around with for a long time and could have major ramifications in the world. In one sense, it's almost like part 2 of the presentation by James Mejia about the importance of education, early childhood education. When we use the reference term ECE, we mean early childhood education, and bringing those quality programs to kids and the difference it makes. But it's about financing mechanisms and how we pay for it all. So the title of the talk is Financing Mechanisms for Developing Human Capital. I'll be talking about
what?
Let's go back. This is his TED Talk. This is my big idea
for developing human capital, for finance. Title of the pay for it all. So the title of the talk is Financing Mechanisms for Developing Human Capital. I'll be talking about
not the mechanisms, not the humans, not the capital, but financing.
Financing mechanisms for developing human capital. Not developing, I don't know, engaged citizen or
well, not even people that
independent adults or human beings or children. Children, right? For developing human capital. All right.
Yeah. What a guy.
Really touches the soul. And let's.
Well, it makes sense why he would sit down with two South Park guys and essentially laugh when they say the people are just stupid.
This is this is a so the program. I just want to play this. This is what this is his grand idea for how we're going to develop that human capital.
To increase funding, we can offer investors an opportunity to share in those savings that are realized over a 20 to 30 year time horizon. Again, that's a time horizon that investors are familiar with. You look at treasury bonds or our 20, 30 year instruments from early investments in human capital. This would create a market appropriate level of investment in human capital. And currently we underinvest, in particular in early childhood education, and the risks would reside with the investors, who initially would have nothing more than these long-term studies to go on, but over time, of course, that would be shown that this mechanism would work. So this would be a model for private investors to adopt a cohort of at-risk infants. So wouldn't be one-on-one, of course, it's a cohort because you need to have the statistical aggregation. So it can be a particular investor that is adopting 5,000 or 10,000 young people. And over time, the savings that those same 5,000 or 10,000 young people accrue to the system, again, with privacy rights protected.
Oh, wow.
Just, I know it's just the way he's thinking about it, but like adopting at-risk infants, corporations can adopt as their advocate or like what?
Cohorts.
Okay.
So what, groups?
I guess.
Like how do we define an at-risk infant? What is that?
I know. Yeah. Or, I mean, what was this part of the, where was it? The goal to increase private funding for early childhood education by offering investors opportunities to share in the gains and savings. Now, how can you explain to me how these at-risk infants are going to be adopted by private investors and how they would gain the savings or gains from these at-risk infants? Like from early investments in human capital, like because the savings to the system, because we adopted these children, because they're not drawing from welfare or in the prison system. Like, how are you quantifying that? And what does that even mean? And
I don't think they can quantify it, but what I think it means is that getting at risk, let's say they have, I don't know, what wasn't at risk, like developmental problems. So essentially getting them into the workforce where that they can, get by and thrive,
So I think that I'm pretty sure this is around the time that the, what was that education program everyone hated? Common Core stuff and like how you remember how there were programs that basically it was almost like a job pipeline into certain industries that these companies were like investing in education to where they could turn education into basically a training program to be whatever employees.
Yeah. Not just, I did videos on that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
A program on that. Yeah.
But it was right around that time. This is 2010. And he's talking about like, how yeah, we can just turn it into a pipeline, and it works for them. They're at-risk infants. They're probably going to do nothing anyway. So we might as well just, have their life set for them, right? Because they're adopting these at-risk infants. And it's just, there's a certain level of ownership when you're adopting, right? And you're going to gain the savings or gains from these human capital. It's just the way that he frames his interest in early childhood education is purely from a financial perspective, almost like a Bill Gates kind of like mindset, where it's an invest. Yeah. Oh, it's a great investment, at-risk infants. Like, wait, how about the, their babies that are struggling in like the human side of it? It's like, nah, they're human capital,
Right. Because the premise of his, I guess he can't be questioned for his motives because you want to help at-risk infants, which should be helped.
Right. I mean, everyone wants to help at-risk infants.
But yeah, I think you're right. The way he frames it just really shows where his mindset is. It's not in the claim that he's helping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all those people that defend him and say he's just wanting to help at-risk infants. It's not. He's not.
No.
More to it than that.
No, he. I mean, again, this is his moment to get on the stage, and his TED Talk on what this is his big idea is developing funding mechanisms for human capital. Not like, hey, like children are struggling. We need to find a way to like. And I watched the entire TED Talk, and it's just. It's more blather than it is inspiration. It's like, who is this audience? Was it all just like venture capital guys? They're like, I've been thinking about investing in education for like creating a jobs pipeline for kids. Like that's very relatable, Jared. Not like, you got to pitch your big idea to the broader audience, I would think, to be interesting. Like, hey, and I realize children need more purpose and to have a better sense of like pitch it in something other than just straight up what it is. But what I've realized is that's kind of the gift of Jared to people like me is that this man just comes out and just says it, and it's kind of terrifying as, somebody that is living under this guy. But so Denver is actually a pretty big hub for crypto projects, and there's a conference every year, ETH Denver. So as one of the guys who, pushed crypto early on, it would make sense that, he'd be the guy to give a speech. I mean, it's in his hometown, but he says shit like this.
Founded the Blockchain Caucus when I served in United States Congress, and one of my very first experiences on the political side with crypto, this was very early on. There was a senator that I won't name now that was trying to undertake an effort to ban Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, trying to ban them, saying they're for criminal transactions, they're drug dealers and all that. And he wrote this letter trying to ban them. And I basically took his letter and almost word for word, I made it ban cash. Because I said cash is used by drug lords, cash is untraceable, it's passed around, cash is used by criminals. And so
yeah. Really fighting the man. Yeah, cash is evil.
Yeah.
We need that traceable stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I get his point.
Yeah.
But like
sure, but it's also, and maybe he's, but no, he's smarter than that. And that's it plays into that Gates agenda. But it was kind of a gotcha, maybe. But at the same time, this man's he's committed to using the benefits of technology. He's a real technocrat. He's coming from that mindset, and he wants us to. This is what he wants for my state of Colorado.
We also are excited to be really among the first digital states where we want to stay ahead of and incorporate community cooperatives like DAOs with legitimacy that they deserve as a participatory form of self-governance that we want to embrace. This future is really about a new paradigm that create new opportunities for Coloradans and also the communities that they serve, which go well beyond the Colorado borders, right? So when we're talking about being the Delaware of cooperatives, it's about, of course, hopefully the legal framework and the societal framework for them to be based here, but their membership, of course, would presumably be global or whatever geographic area they want to define it in.
There you go.
What does that mean? The members could be global. Who is he talking about for our state? I mean, what?
Global capital.
Oh yeah, so we'll have our county will be a DAO, which is like I think it's a decentralized autonomous organization.
Okay.
Which sounds nice. I mean, you have stuff like Dash and other crypto projects that are DAOs, and it's like self-governing kind of mindset. But he's relating that to Colorado being the first digital state, and we're gonna have, of course, the owners could be global, and what related to Colorado are you referring to, Jared? Like, you talking about the lakes or the county, or like it's a little creepy to me.
Mm-hmm. So then, what he's saying is that you'll have citizens and then members of Colorado. So are these members going to pay taxes?
I don't know. I mean, and what if you're not a citizen? I mean, is he referring to the private industry? So that's a new way to, like, or Colorado wants to have that ability to incorporate, because he said we want to be the Delaware of co-ops. And as anyone knows, Delaware is where everyone incorporates because they got really good tax law, I think. And he said this earlier in the talk. He's like, even I had a company in California, but we incorporated in Delaware, and that's what you do. So we want to do that for DAOs and co-op, whatever. So
I have anywhere, but not in America, but anywhere.
Anywhere. Yeah, and I don't quite know what the implications of that and what he's actually referring to. I'm personally, when these days when somebody's like, yeah, we should do the first digital state, like, maybe we can keep it on how it is. What does that mean? Well, like, let's not go. And he's talking about banning cash. Like, I don't want to be the first digital everything. This sounds like a bad idea. But
bad idea. Trackable.
So, well, now that you say that, this really was this is the icing on the cake here at ETH Denver.
Ethereum is really a platform that enables so much more than just payments. It enables cooperation and collaboration. And digital autonomous organizations can literally code the rules for their own governance, their own businesses. And that has implications that are broad and profound for content creators of all types, gamers, artists, brands with virtual products that can be tied to a physical good. And of course, government can also utilize these concepts around fee baits or encouraging behaviors that are environmentally friendly or socially desirable. Ethereum.
Wow. Great dictatorship.
Again, very technocrat. Hey, we're going to use DAOs to incentivize behavior. I want to. He stumbles, man. He's a fumbler and a stumbler. I want to go back to where he brings it in and how smooth it was. Just notice.
So utilize these concepts around fee baits or encouraging behaviors that are environmentally.
I think their body betrays them. Their mind and their body are not in sync when they're lying, or when they're being deceptive or morally wrong.
He's saying the quiet part out loud. Like, governments can use this to incentivize behavior. Like, thanks, Jared. And he stumbled his way through it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want this stuff. I don't want digital fee baits and that incentivize good behavior. No, thank you.
No. Yeah, and the benefits that he's talking about with all the marketing and the creators and the artists and all that, it's not a big proportion of the society that we live in.
Yeah, I mean, Jared's he's tapped in, and he's been tapped for something. And of course, I had all these clips, and I was like, all right, I haven't Googled this term, but has Jared gone to the WEF? And sure enough, class 2013, we got Jared Polis right down here. So who else was in his class? Anyone notable? Aijen Poo? I haven't heard of that person, but National Domestic Workers Alliance, yeah. Nothing. Oh, Nate Silver, 538. Another, technocrat. Ann Wojcicki. Ooh, 23andMe. Okay. Also, who's Randy Zuckerberg? Anyone like? Is that Mark's cousin or something?
Yeah, his meth cousin.
But so Jared's in the crowd. Chelsea Clinton. There you go.
Nice, perfect.
He's in the crowd, and my sense, based on recent positioning, so I think it's possible if Trump runs again, I think that he will win the nomination again in 2024. But let's assume maybe he doesn't. Maybe DeSantis runs. Or this could be a preview of the 2028 election. Where DeSantis is running, because I don't think Jared Polis can run just yet. If it's either going to be I guess Kamala, or I don't know what the Democrats are going to do in 2024 at this point. It seems like a nightmare situation anyway. But if DeSantis doesn't run in 2024, I think Jared could be the guy who's put up against DeSantis, and he has been saying some shit directly about DeSantis. He came out, so there's been the thing down in Florida, the parental rights law. We'll just go ahead and call it that, or otherwise propagandized as the "Don't Say Gay" bill. And there's been some, DeSantis has been out there fighting back. I think pushing back on the culture front more than any other governor that I've seen, and really just, especially with Disney, pushing back against that, which has had a lot of people freaking out. And so you get Jared, again, he's a gamer, guys. He's a gamer, and he's positioned. G-A-Y. I mean, that's not becoming of a leader to have that on your Twitter, but whatever. But Jared's pushing back against the DeSantis, wave that, because I think he's uniquely positioned as the quote unquote libertarian gamer, who is also, we get into this topic of grooming children in certain ideological frameworks about gender, sexuality, or anything like that, which is very controversial. It is unfortunate, first of all, that Jared is, also happens to be gay, but also seems very committed to grooming human capital for financial. I mean, the man I think he got early childhood, like kindergarten for everybody in Colorado, or preschool or whatever, passed recently. So that was his big thing that he was trying to get accomplished, because he's early child. Yeah, I think it was either kindergarten or preschool for everyone. I think it was preschool. For everyone. Yes, let me look this up.
Ain't no such thing.
I want to clarify. Universal preschool. Yep. Governor Polis signed, which creates the Department of Early Childhood and established a universal preschool program.
Okay, so everybody has to go in the preschool?
We'll have the chance to.
Okay. Equity?
Equity. Yeah.
Okay.
will be eligible to receive up to 10 hours a week of free preschool. Huh.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It was a 2-hour preschool. All right. I thought it was usually 4 hours a day, but either way, so he's clearly interested in that part of it. And it's just, and then he also happens to be on the other side of this whole debate.
Yeah.
And so he's on the fantastic program of Joy Reid. I'm sorry that we have to be subjected to her, but I thought this was interesting for future posturing up against the very popular DeSantis, who I think is almost certainly going to be the nominee at some point. But this is his point or position.
Extortion. Those Florida Democrats aren't the only ones making noise. However, a Democratic governor has stepped forward, calling out the DeSantis playbook as authoritarian socialism, while offering Mickey
again with the socialism.
I know.
Yeah,
it's just a projection.
Makes no sense.
No. Yeah, it gets worse.
State of Colorado. That governor, Jared Polis of Colorado, joins me now. Governor Polis, thank you for being here from my former growing up state. Let's talk about authoritarian socialism. I saw your tweet and thought that's the term we need to be using because you explain what it is. What is authoritarian socialism?
Explain what it is.
Love this.
Yeah, explain.
Yeah,
she really does.
Yeah. First of all, Randy Rainbow, wow, Joy. I'm a huge fanboy. Everybody should stick around and listen to Randy Rainbow. He's amazing. But on this topic, Joy, so what we're talking about here is this is out of the playbook of authoritarianism.
Again, authoritarianism. Like, you can't even say it because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Joy. So what we're talking about here is this is out of the playbook of authoritarianism, of government intervention in private business, saying you don't do what I want in this
private businessing.
Yeah.
What? Is that a verb now?
Yeah.
Hey man, have you been private businessing or what? Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. My private businessing's going great.
Yeah.
This guy's
private business
fake
all day long.
He's amazing. But on this topic, Joy, so what we're talking about here is this is out of the playbook of authoritarianism, of government intervention in private business, saying you don't do what I want. In this case, you're not supporting my anti-gay law. Therefore, I will directly penalize your company, not pass some general law that affects all
Holy
companies.
crap.
Literally,
Okay.
go out.
I'm sorry. I got really distracted. We'll have to roll it back. Joy Reid's blinking.
Oh, I didn't look at that.
Insane.
Okay.
Probably about a little bit further back than that. It was like when she nodded her head. Yeah.
In socialism. I saw your tweet and thought that's the term we need to be using because you explain what it is. What is authoritarian socialism?
Yeah. First of all, Randy Rainbow, wow, Joy. I'm a huge fanboy. Everybody should stick around and listen to Randy Rainbow. He's amazing. But on
See, there you go too, Randy Rainbow. Randy. He's bullshit. He's giving her a fake compliment.
Yes. God, she's the fakest person alive, but
yeah.
Both these people.
Talking about here is this is out of the playbook of authoritarianism, of government intervention in private business, saying you don't do what I want. In this case, you're not supporting my anti-gay law. Therefore, I will directly penalize your company, not pass some general law that affects all companies. Literally, we will go after your company if you don't get in line. I mean,
that's like 25 blinks.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And that's authoritarian socialism.
Right.
Because let's let.
Is that really what DeSantis is doing though? It's just like we'll just penalize you for not getting in line. General law isn't he going specifically? I feel like I don't know much about DeSantis, but I think he's very intentional in his decision making, right or wrong.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, he is playing. I will say he is playing the culture war, but I think in ways that at the same time it's like, okay, why should Disney be given this pass when it comes to isn't it like shouldn't we be taxing corporations? Isn't that what we
right
or to like maybe I don't know the specifics of what's going to play out because I've heard the argument that it's going to impact taxpayers negatively for something, and that
$1
I don't know.
billion.
I don't know if that's true, and maybe it is in some ways. There's going to be some liabilities that might be shifted, but you know, generally speaking, Disney's been. I mean, they've had a free pass. There's been a lot of pedophilia and some other shit going on there that's definitely worth not allowing them to have the free pass, where I'm like kind of in favor of that. And also it's a competitive advantage.
Correct. Yeah.
Like
Especially when you're businessing like that.
Or
it's not fair.
Or give everybody that those, like, you know, if you're gonna, like, if we want equity, if we want equality, let's just let everyone have the benefits that Disney has. Like, we don't have to take it from them, right?
Nah, we just use those words. We really want them.
But outside of it, it seems counterintuitive to the general democratic argument regarding corporations. But in this way, because it's part of the culture war, you know, we've got to make this stance in favor of our big favorite corporation.
Yeah. Double down on the mouse.
And this is authoritarian socialism, and I want to let Jared complete his point, because it gets better.
I mean, that's out of the playbook of you know, Maduro and Venezuela, Chavez. I mean, this is the kind of leadership they have that stifles freedom, stifles economic prosperity, and it's exactly what we're seeing out of Ron DeSantis in Florida. And look, if was always happy to have a mountain Disneyland, and Mickey and Minnie are safe here.
No, I will say, for anyone even who likes Jared Polis, no one wants that in Colorado. We have enough development and high cost of, you know, traffic in the mountains. Nobody wants a Disneyland in Colorado unless you put it in Pueblo. If we put it down in Pueblo, here's what we do. We have it right next to the Supermax prison where Ted Kaczynski and the shoe bomber and everybody had, like, that's where we could put Disneyland. Okay. Because, you know, might need the economic development, and it'd be funny to have the manifesto guy right next to this absurd creation. But no,
you could get like a workers release program going
no.
on.
Yeah, Ted Kaczynski could be your Mickey Mouse. Yeah. But
good luck with that, man.
Oh God, yeah. No one. That's not gonna. I mean, that was in. This guy tries to make headlines. He tries to play that game where he's like saying, "Oh, I'm fighting back against this authoritarian stifler of freedom, Ron DeSantis." That's really. I mean, when you think of a guy who's really kept freedom down, you usually think of DeSantis, right?
Right.
Again, it's like this is a huge projection. He's trying to project the last 2 years onto this guy.
Yeah, I think they all are too.
And Polis he's one to watch because, you know, he's got the gamer attitude. He's hip, you know, and he is the first openly gay governor, and so that people love first, you know, and that's you know, he's made waves, and I think he's I guess hip enough to play the game, but he's a little he needs to be polished. Polis needs some polishing. Because he slips on the words too much.
He does. He doesn't have much energy behind what he's saying.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't care that much.
And his ideas, you know, it's a stoner thing. It's the stoner thing.
Yeah.
You know, his ideas are half baked.
He is half baked for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's an early tech entrepreneur, but not. I mean, he got in early with some stuff. He timed things right with the first .com. Let's be honest. And
he
then
went to college at the right time is basically what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Like those early 90s, late 80s college kids.
Mm-hmm.
They were lucky, I think.
But I think he's a very strong candidate in the future. After if he's probably going to get reelected, although hopefully people in Colorado, if you're watching this, I'm not sure who the Republican nominee is going to be. But like we got to try to get this guy out one way or the other, because he's kind of scary. He's got some things he's talking about with making us the digital state. And if I've learned anything from the last few years, I don't need that. That doesn't sound like progress to me. That sounds like a big trap.
Sounds like a nightmare. Man.
Yeah, I mean,
Really
we got a technocrat in office, like low key is a Klaus Schwabian, has Bill Gates tendencies, and it's not good, guys. We need to hold this guy accountable before he, does some more insane shit.
Yeah. So you got like a pool of like 10 Republicans.
I haven't even. I think I heard somebody speak at some event at one point, and I'm not somebody who's voted actually ever for a Republican, but that with how things have been, nothing's off the table at this point, and I've not voted for either party really since 2008, but and everyone voting is what it is. But yeah, that's we're in some weird times where it seems like I don't care what this means. At some point, like we got to stop this from getting any worse if that's possible. Let's try.
Yeah.
So,
well, it makes sense to talk about it and learn about it. And now I know I can maybe chime in on some Polis if I hear people talking about him.
Yeah, and people don't really. He tries to make waves, but he doesn't have. I think he's playing AA, AAA ball. He's not hitting in the majors yet. Like he's trying to be relevant. He's like, well, let me start a feud with DeSantis, and DeSantis is like, wait, what did this guy say? Oh yeah, sure. Oh, go ahead, Jared. Yeah, take Disney. That's a really popular brand right now. Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Like you just don't know how to. He doesn't know how to play the game fully, but he is still gaming, and I would watch out for him because he's gonna become a national figure at some point. So
yeah, he seems motivated.
He is, and he can buy his way up as much as he needs to. So
sure, that too. Oh yeah, calm.
Yeah, that's our governor. I'm excited to see what's going on in your neck of the woods for the next show.
You'll have stuff to chime in too because you've got roots here. So
yeah,
and you've been following it. This I don't even know who this guy is. No, I really don't want to know, but it's important to know. So yeah, we'll bring the mitten to the next show.
Yeah, well, this is fun. I'm glad I finally got to roll out the Polis.
All right, man.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Take care. Peace.